Victoria, so good to see you. We start with a really common question. Should you tap your retirement accounts to pay off your mortgage? A lot of people want to go into retirement debt-free, which is why paying off your mortgage becomes a very common financial goal. But before you write the final check, you recommend crunching the numbers first and thinking through some unforeseen consequences. Let's do that. And let's start with the question, though. Do you even recommend people pay off their mortgage before retiring?
Well, Erin, that depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a straight answer. Sure, it's a very, it's a common goal people have. And if you can pay off your mortgage without raiding your retirement accounts, then yes, it's a win because then all of a sudden your expenses are lower. So you're not having to take out as much each month to pay those expenses and your retirement assets can grow. Now, why I say it depends is because many people refinanced over the last few years and they have interest rates at 3% or even lower.
Right.
And so here we've got a situation where that is probably the cheapest money you'll ever borrow. And if you are now got a 3% and you're using dollars that are earning you 5, 6, 7%, or even worse, you're having to take money out of accounts that you have to pay taxes on, you could find yourself in a poorer situation than by paying off that mortgage.
Right. I'm glad that we get to talk this through. As a parent, this is a financial and emotional decision. So then how do you help clients balance the numbers versus peace of mind?
Yeah, this is where personal finance really is personal.
Yeah.
So there's a math side to it, and it's very simple. What's your mortgage rate? And you compare that rate to what is a conservative rate of return your portfolio could earn. And if the rate of return is higher than that mortgage rate, then the mortgage wins. You keep the mortgage. But for many, having that mortgage and that added expense is a weight that can keep them up at night. And we understand that. We certainly want retirees to be happy and not worried in retirement. So here's what I would suggest. First of all, if that is one of your goals in retirement, then look to be paying that off with wages and putting extra payments toward that mortgage while you're still working. Second, you might want to readjust your goal. If the goal is, hey, I want to have it paid off at 65, maybe you say, let's target 70. Give yourself some time.
Yeah. Let's say, though, that I am one of those people, Victoria, I come into your office and I say, I am going to sleep better at night if I know that my mortgage is paid off and I see this great big bucket of money, my tax deferred accounts there. When or should I ever tap that money to pay off my mortgage?
Yes, that happened just yesterday. Client came in and chatted with us saying, I want to pay off this mortgage.
Yeah.
Owes $300,000 out of that. Now, happens to be, not only does he have to worry about federal taxes, but also state taxes. So I shared with him, if you need $300,000 and you're already in the 24% tax bracket, you're going to need $400,000 to pull out of that, plus the addition for state taxes. So when you pull money out of tax deferred accounts, those are the least favorable dollars to use to pay off your mortgage. Instead, like I said, you want to look at wages potentially, or if you have extra cash in your savings account, or even non-qualified, non-retirement accounts that have more favorable capital gains tax rates. If the only dollars are your tax deferred accounts, then my recommendation is you want to tap into those dollars, only staying within the current marginal tax bracket you are in. You don't want to be taking money out that's going to bubble you up into a higher tax bracket. For example, going from 24 to 32%.
Right. Absolutely. Something a lot of people don't necessarily consider. So let's walk through a couple more of those pitfalls that catch people off guard when you take large withdrawals from those retirement accounts. You just mentioned tax issues. Obviously, you're reducing liquidity and increases on Medicare premiums.
Right. Taxes, most people understand they're going to have to pay a tax from their IRAs when they take money out. But the liquidity is a real factor here. When you put money into your home, accessing that money is not as easy as tapping into your IRA when emergencies come up. So that's something you really need to be mindful of. The one that really gets overlooked is the IRMA cost, because it doesn't hit you until 2 years later after you've actually taken those dollars out of the account. And for an individual, that could potentially be an extra $500 a month. And for a married couple, an extra $1,000. That's a huge added expense by using those tax-deferred dollars. And the last one I'll share here is just the opportunity cost. If I'm pulling out $400,000 out of the account, I don't have that compounding benefit of those dollars growing.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really interesting to talk this through with you, Victoria. I'm sure your clients probably have noticed as much that after you sit down with the spreadsheets and talk through all the tax consequences and everything else, it can change how you feel about it, which, as you mentioned at the beginning, this is why this is all personal finance. The answer will be different for everyone. So if somebody would like to sit down with you, crunch the numbers, talk through the pros and cons, what's the best way to reach you?
Yep. They can email us at info@vitalityinvestments.org.
All right, great. Again, Victoria, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.